Hello and welcome back to RamsTalk podcast. Now, today we've got a little bit of a different episode. Usually we'd have a preview on a Wednesday. There's no game this weekend. It's the international break. Everyone hates that. But in place of it, I've got a very, very special guest today. I was saying before we started recording, so many titles. Last season's Player of the Year for Derby County Women. 100 games at Derby for the weekend. Emily Joyce. How are you, Emily?
Really good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you very much for coming on quite literally at the last minute. Very grateful for that. So for people who are listening who may not have kept up with the women's team in recent times, could you give a quick introduction to yourself and what sort of player you are?
So I've been at the club. I think this is my sixth season now. So I'm a central midfielder. In my first season, I actually won fans player of the season, and then unfortunately, literally on the second to last game of the season, I ruptured my ACL. So missed out on kind of the next season, and then that's when COVID hit anyway. So it kind of gave me that time to kind of get back after that, and then kind of been like really lucky, obviously, to have got my 100th appearance on Sunday. And I just find myself pride myself on kind of being in that squad and always giving myself like a 7 out of 10. Priding myself on that to really every performance just turning up and giving everything that I've got for the shirt.
Yeah, that's exactly what fans want to see, isn't it? Players turn up and giving everything. I mean, to touch on last season, pretty decent season. You won Player of the Year, so you must have done something right. How do you think it went?
So as a collective, like it was a really enjoyable season. I think we had a great group of girls, well, still do now. A lot of young players. So I've spoken on a lot of interviews saying that felt like a senior player. I think I was 23 then, 24 now. But you kind of had to come into your own a bit and take a bit of like leadership role on. And then just as personally, just think again, like I've already said, kind of that consistency throughout the season. I pride myself on like always making sure every performance, no matter if it's not my best game, like you'll still go out of it and go, oh, she worked hard. It was a really good season for me personally, and as a collective to get fourth with kind of what had happened during pre-season with not having the best pre-season start and then starts the season as well. We kind of went on a great run after Christmas, and I think that kind of just shot us up the table from there. And yeah, it just felt like a really positive season to build on for this season.
Yeah, I remember that run. I went to pretty much every home game on that run. I remember Amy Sims scoring goals left, right, and centre. I don't think she could stop at the time. So yeah, that was definitely good to see. I mean, we've both mentioned already 100 games at Derby, and what a game to do it in. Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. You went there, 2-1 win. Talk me through it. How are you feeling all the way through?
Yeah, I think I said in the Rams TV interview, like literally, we just kind of had this feeling like we were going into it, we're the underdogs, we were going to like take it to them. And I think it just showed in that first 10 minutes, we just were at them. I don't think they knew what to do with us and they didn't expect it. And then two quick goals, and that was kind of it. And then I thought the first half, they just had like nothing really. And unfortunately, obviously, giving away the penalty, and then they're always going to come out second half and really come at us, but we just held out really well. And yeah, just so happy. I think everyone shows in all the videos that have come out how buzzing we all were. And I think now it's kind of, it wasn't just the win for against Forest, though. It was just that's what we've been waiting for this season. I think we've had a few unlucky results and maybe not played as well as we could. So that was kind of for the staff on Sunday as well to just show, we're doing this for you. And hopefully now we can kick on. We've always got 3 games in a week. Stoke on tomorrow and Huddersfield on Sunday. So really a quick turnaround for tomorrow, and hopefully we can kind of take this momentum with us.
Yeah, this episode will come out tomorrow. So anyone that's listening now, the Stoke game is probably in about an hour's time. So get yourself down to Mickleover Sports and support the girls if you can. And I mean, let's go back to the start of that Forest game. It's only a couple of minutes in. You get that early goal. How does it affect the team when you score so early on?
I don't think any of us probably realised how early on it was, but it just felt brilliant, and it was like just the best thing because obviously it silenced their fans as well. they went pretty quiet after that. And then like not long after that, what was it, like 10 minutes after that, not even that, then you get the second. And I think it was just like we just felt in control then. Like I say, I think if the penalty hadn't been awarded, I still think it would have been 2-0 going in at half time, and then it would have felt even we would have felt even more confident then going into the second half. But I think we just knew everyone knew their job role. We knew that we had fresh legs on the bench, so we were going to give it everything, and if we needed, they'd come on. And yeah, everything just fell into place. I mean, they did. We were lucky towards the end; they had a few chances, but at the same time, I think we could have taken a few of ours as well. So yeah, just so happy to get the win.
I'm not surprised. And I mean, one of the things I enjoyed, I'm sure you enjoyed it out on the pitch as well, was every time a goal went in, the boos from the home end. How does it feel as a player to play in that sort of environment?
I found it weird because I didn't probably actually realise how much they were actually booing during the match. I remember one point when they were like, one of the fans was like, "Don't give it back to her." I think one of our players was going to get the ball for a throw in, and I probably didn't realise how kind of hostile it was for us, really having to play under it. But like I say, I think that's what the quick goals did for us. It just gave us that confidence. And then, yeah, like I say, I just blocked it out. I think at the end of the match they were booing, but I think we were too busy celebrating that we didn't even hear the boos. So yeah, like I say, amazing to play in front of 6,000 fans, even if a lot of them aren't our own. It was still an amazing experience. And obviously they've got the record now for the top attendance. So I suppose now we're hoping that we can better that. Hopefully when they come to us at Pride Park next year, probably.
Yeah, I was at the game last year at Pride Park, and even though the result wasn't great, the atmosphere and the actual occasion was really good. I mean, I played at Pride Park in front of about 10, and it was amazing. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I mean, how does it feel to play in front of a decent crowd at such a big stadium?
Yeah, well, like myself and Aim, obviously, are Derby County fans, like Derby County through and through. So for us, I don't think anything like is better than that, really, like representing Derby. And then the crowds that we're getting is just brilliant. And then at the end of matches now, the amount of girls that want signatures and want pictures and just inspiring that next generation. So I think it's not just about playing now; it's about what you're doing off the pitch to help others. For like future Derby stars.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess you mentioned earlier there's a lot of young players in this team. I mean, I think Millie Jenkins is probably the standout for me from when I've seen. Although her tackle on Sunday I'd describe as interesting. But I mean, how does it feel? Sort of, you've been in and around the club for what, 6 years, as you said. How does it feel to see so many young players coming through and sort of growing into the first team?
Yeah, it's really good to see. I think it just gives all girls within the academy that kind of realization that they can do it. I mean, we've got Marley, Mill, obviously Izzy Sheridan as well, who has come up. So there's been lots of opportunities, and it just gives that pathway for girls that there is that pathway for them. And like a lot of the girls have just taken the opportunity. Like Marl's done brilliantly. Mill on Sunday obviously had a brilliant match to start with, and just due to the yellow card, that would have been the only reason she came off. If not, she would have been still on that pitch because she was brilliant and gave us that kind of threat down that right hand side. So no, I think they really add to the squad. And sometimes they're having a conversation. I'm like, God, I am old now. Like they're talking about they're talking about school and all this, and I'm there like, God, I'm a bit old now. I'm teaching some of you.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I'm 25, and there's some apprentices at work, and they make me feel about 2,500 with some of the stuff they're talking about. So yeah, I completely understand that one. But just to go back to the game, I mean, you're 2-0 up. You've scored two goals. I think it's two within 10 minutes. How does that affect you throughout the game? Because I can imagine that, as time goes on, that pressure builds and builds.
Yeah, well, I mean, Al had a really good chance as well, not that long after the two goals as well. And we could have even been 3-0, and that would have been, obviously, that would have just been amazing. But we definitely had lots of chances. And I think, like I say, in the first half, definitely there wasn't many chances for them. So we just took that confidence throughout. And I thought we kind of managed the game really well as a team. That's maybe something we've not done as well in the past, but we knew when we needed to have little breaks, and we knew when we needed to come in together and chat to each other. And like I say, everyone just kind of knew their roles to a T, what they needed to do. Like Wards comes on the pitch and was brilliant as well. Kira comes on at the end, and so does Bex, and both of them just know that they need to keep possession of that ball and take up the pitch. And obviously Kira with the with her dribbling just got us, like, that was just the kind of release of pressure that we needed, and Bex the same as well. So I think everyone just knew the game plan, like I say, knew their roles, and it was just, I think everyone just felt really confident going into Sunday, and then going in at half time and playing how we played. Like we were just so happy, and we just took that into the second half. And really, in the end, it was just kind of the spirit to get us through, and not concede, to let them get the draw.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about going into the second half and everything that happened there. What happens at half time? You're 2-1 up. You've just conceded just before half time. You go into the dressing room. What's Sam Griffiths saying to you? How's she getting you fired up?
And I think to start off with, she was just so proud of us, saying how well we'd done, 2 goals, and obviously everyone expects it. She knew that they'd be coming out second half. I think we actually expected a change in formation, a change in personnel definitely as well, but we were quite shocked at that when we went out, that actually stuck to the same team, which was interesting, obviously for us, because she kind of prepped us in case we needed to adapt for that. But no, it was just keep our heads. I'd actually ran over to her because I was on a yellow card, and I got it in the 17th minute. So I ran over to her and I was like, I can keep my head. You don't need to take me off the pitch. I can keep my head. So yeah, just managing, and obviously like understanding who was on the yellows as well. I think it was just me at half time actually. So just the kind of addressing things like that, anything from set piece wise. Bart's our set piece guru, so she was just like clearing up on any of that. And yeah, I think we were just prepped and ready to go out again, just an attack for the second half, just like we had the first. So yeah, like I say, I think everything just kind of just clicked into place on Sunday. I feel like we've come close. It's been like a 3-2 against Liverpool Feds, 2-1 against Wolves, 1-0 against Newcastle the other day. And I just think this was just meant to be, and we just played really well. And like I say, this will just hopefully give us the confidence going into our next few games.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So the season so far, I mean, 1-2, lost 3, and you've mentioned there pretty much every game's been really, really tight. There's been 1 or 2 goals in it. How do you think it's gone so far?
I think it was obviously a tough start to the season, getting Wolves at home to begin with. Obviously, someone who would be like wanting to be up there. But that was probably like the best game we've probably had. We were unlucky again not to kind of get anything from that game. I know that Wolves just kind of sat back in that second half. And then kind of we go then to, I think we had Liverpool Feds, where a very tight game, we were actually winning. And it was just, a lot of them were individual errors actually, which was costing us. And then obviously Stourbridge, we have that poor first half, and then amazing second half, 7 goals in a half. So it's just been a bit inconsistent, really. That's the word for it. And then I think winning last week at Doncaster Bells as well, different goal scorers. I think that then gave us a bit of confidence as well. And then really we played well at Newcastle in our defensive display. It was just a shame we couldn't really get anything going forwards. So I think we were just looking to build, none of us letting our heads drop, just knowing that if we keep training and playing like we know we can, we keep going back to pre-season, because we had a really good pre-season, some games the way we pressed. So I think just making sure we kind of realise the levels that we should be at and avoid those obviously individual errors. And then like I say, I think just on Sunday it just clicked together. So I'm just hoping now that we can just continue this. We'll have a kind of analysis session tonight, I'm sure, and then go into Stoke, I think, with just the same game plan, and ready to hopefully get another 3 points and move up that league.
Yeah, let's hope so. And you mentioned their consistency. I mean, quite a lot of new players came in over the summer. Do you think it's just taken a little bit of time for everyone to get to know each other, to understand each other's game?
Yeah, I think so. Anna's come in and has been brilliant in goal. She had a brilliant match on Sunday as well. But I think she's done really well in goal. And then we've obviously had Stegs come in the back line. alongside Jacko. And I think them two are really finding their feet now together as a kind of partnership. And then obviously Yaz up front and Elle, and then also Maria. So we've got like quite a few new faces, but I don't think it's changed anything in the squad. I think I've still got a real good relationship with everyone. It's just, I think it was just kind of just understanding each other's games. Like I said, in pre-season, it just worked really well. And I think it's just maybe, well, it just wasn't working at some points during the games. And like I said, an individual error, you could do everything right in the game and someone gives away a goal for you and you can't do anything about that. So yeah, I feel like now coming together a bit more, but like I say, in the dressing room, we're all really together, and hopefully now we can start to kick on and kind of use this momentum.
Yeah, and you've talked about individual errors. How does it affect the team when someone makes a mistake? Obviously, it happens at every single level. When a player makes a mistake, especially if it's late in the game and it costs you points or costs you a win, how does the team react to that, and how does it affect the dressing room?
I think it's just getting a hand around the player who's made the mistake, making sure it's like ultimately like it's an individual error, but there's probably ways we could have stopped it before then as well. So we're doing a lot, making sure we're doing a lot of analysis this year as well. And that might have been an individual error that cost us the goal, but there may have been another time when someone else was lucky that we didn't concede. So we're making sure in our analysis sessions that we're kind of picking on them and on finer details, in particular our set pieces. That's something we're really looking at to make sure we're not conceding through them. And then I think the most important thing, like Mill on Sunday, like she'd done a brilliant tackle. It was just unfortunate that she obviously gave the penalty away, but again, everyone goes over to her, make sure she's okay, gets her head up, and then we move on to the next thing. And I think sometimes it's just part of football, isn't it? Everyone
Yeah.
makes mistakes, even at the highest level, and it's sometimes just like kind of knowing how you can learn from that for the next game. Like I do it, everyone does it. So it's just kind of making sure that we stick together. I think sometimes as well, we tried to get like if the goal has gone in, kind of getting back together and kind of readdressing what we need to do in the game, to kind of get our heads back on it, and then going forward into the game we've got a bit more of a clearer picture instead of all our heads dropping and then maybe another goal going in.
Yeah, as you said, mentality is really important, isn't it? And it sounds like everyone's sort of pulling in the same way, which is really, really great to hear. And I just want to ask you about, I guess, the club in general. I mean, it's what I don't know how long it's been. Has it been a year since the club and the women's team and the men's team officially sort of merged together, became one entity? You've been training at Moor Farm, which I'm sure must be amazing. How has it changed at the club since the moment you came in to this moment now?
Yeah, like so much. Obviously, we were training at Moor Farm when I first started, but the amount of facilities we've got now is just so much better. Obviously, gone to 3 times a week, training. We've got it's really good because we've got our S&C coach who's now like linked with the men. So we're kind of making sure that we're getting our like GPS is all getting analysed, and it's all ready for us, ready for training and games. So that's just another level to that as well. Obviously, like lots of different coaches have come and gone over the years, but obviously different people with different specialties that are helping the team. And then obviously Mickle over the years, the grass pitch went to the 3G pitch, and that's just a really good home ground for us now that we really like to think as a bit of a fortress and try to make it that. And then obviously the fact that we've got the hub as well at the training centre too, which is like our little home that we do our analysis in. Have to go and see the physio there, and that's obviously Sam's little base where she can talk to players in as well. So it's like nice because that's our kind of where we go. That's our kind of home when we get to training. And then I think just as a club, like David Clowes coming to matches, same as Stephen Pearce. Like, I don't think you'd get that in many other clubs, people coming to watch. So it feels like a real togetherness there. And then obviously being able to play on Pride Park as well, like hopefully something we could do more often, but obviously making sure every year we're on there as part of the Forest match is really good. So yeah, lots of changes. When I think about some of the things over the years, it has changed a lot, and for the better. So yeah, really good.
Yeah, that is really good to hear. And yeah, you need to beat Forest at Pride Park this year. It needs to happen.
Definitely need to get the double this year.
Yeah, I think there should be a women's equivalent of the Brian Clough Trophy. It
There
seems
should.
strange there isn't yet. Yeah, that's one to definitely think about. And one final question. I've seen it come up quite a lot. Obviously, you mentioned you guys train, 3 times a week. Balancing that with other jobs as well. How do you find that, and how do you strike the balance between football and non-football activities?
Yeah, it's hard because, like I was saying about the younger girls, like some of them are obviously still in school. We've got some at university, and then the kind of like I like to say, the kind of older ones of us with our like full-time jobs. So for me, I'm a PE teacher, so trying to get it so I come home and kind of have a bit of time to actually switch off before I then go to football. Because even though 3 nights a week doesn't sound like loads, but obviously in between coming home and then from work and then going straight off, it doesn't leave a lot of time obviously to prepare yourself for the next day. And then with a kind of a whole Sunday gone, free football as well, it kind of doesn't leave a lot of time. So it's just about being organized. And I try and always kind of leave time on like a Saturday to kind of at least have a bit of a chill. And then obviously a Friday evening is kind of a nice time as well. And your Mondays for your recovery. So yeah, I've just had to kind of over the last few weeks, especially because obviously this is kind of new with our new training program, to just kind of make sure I'm got to putting myself first sometimes and making sure I've got time to recover properly and have that correct balance between football and work.
Yeah, I can imagine it's difficult. 3 times, like you say, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it can soon build up, can't it? So right, Emily, thank you so much for coming on, especially as I said at the start, a really, really short notice. One final thing from you: are you beating Stoke tomorrow?
Definitely.
Perfect. Love to hear it. So yeah, thank you very much, Emily, for coming on. Thank you so much to everyone who's listened. Get yourselves down to Mickleover Sports. Nearly call it the Don Amott Arena then. I don't know if it's still
Yeah.
called that. Is it still called that? I don't even
I
know.
think they do. Yeah, they do still call it that, I think. But yeah, we're just like Mickle
Yeah, get yourselves down to Mickleover, support the girls. Yeah, there's going to be a good run of form now. I can tell, I can sense it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
hope
get
so.
yourself down. I'm sure I'll score tomorrow now. So yes, perfect. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone for listening, and thank you so much, Emily, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.